Picture this: your to-do list is endless, deadlines are looming, relationships feel strained, and the weight of uncertainty about the future presses heavily on your shoulders. It feels like life is throwing challenges from every direction, and the question arises, how do you even begin to handle it all? What if I told you that there's an ancient philosophy, tried and tested for over 2,000 years, that holds practical tools to not just survive but thrive in the face of life's toughest moments? Enter Stoicism, a philosophy not about abstract theories or lofty ideals, but a guide for living with strength, clarity, and purpose. In this video, we're diving into 20 common struggles that almost everyone faces at some point in their lives, from battling procrastination to coping with loss. But here's the twist: this isn't just about recognizing these problems. By the time we're done, you'll walk away equipped with actionable Stoic wisdom to confront these challenges head-on and find peace amid the chaos. So, if you're ready to transform how you view hardship and uncover the tools to live a more resilient and fulfilling life, let's start exploring the power of Stoicism together. Now turning to the first challenge, anxiety about the future. This is something that nearly everyone has faced at one point or another. Thoughts about what might happen tomorrow, next week, or even years down the line can consume our mind, leaving us restless and overwhelmed. Stoicism offers a refreshing perspective on this. Instead of spiraling into what-ifs and worst-case scenarios, it teaches us to focus solely on what is within our control while letting go of everything else. Marcus Aurelius put it best when he wrote, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this and you will find strength." It's a simple yet profound reminder that we waste precious energy trying to control outcomes that are simply not ours to dictate. A practical exercise to manage this kind of anxiety is journaling. Set aside a few minutes daily to write down your worries and then divide them into two categories: things you can control versus things you cannot. For those worries outside your control, consciously release them by acknowledging that they are beyond your influence. For the ones within your control, break them into actionable steps that you can tackle bit by bit. This practice anchors your mind in the present moment and transforms anxiety into clarity and focus. With this approach, you may just find that the future feels a little less daunting and a lot more manageable. As the next challenge unfolds, let us address the fear of failure, a hurdle that often paralyzes people and prevents them from pursuing their goals. This fear, rooted in the dread of making mistakes or not meeting expectations, can keep us stuck in a cycle of inaction and self-doubt. Stoicism offers a powerful antidote to this mindset by reframing failure not as a definitive end but as an essential part of growth. Epictetus reminds us, "It's not what happens to you but how you react to it that matters." This timeless wisdom shifts the focus from the external event, the failure itself, to our inner response. It teaches us that we have the strength to rise, learn, and adapt no matter the setback. Consider this: every great innovation, discovery, or personal triumph came with its fair share of failures along the way. The Stoic perspective invites us to see failure as feedback, a valuable teacher that helps refine our character and abilities. A practical Stoic exercise for confronting the fear of failure is to visualize the worst-case scenario. By imagining the outcome you fear most, you demystify it and realize that even if it were to occur, you could endure, adapt, and try again. This practice instills resilience and courage, enabling you to take bold steps toward your goals without being shackled by the fear of falling short. In the end, it's not the failures that define us, but the perseverance, humility, and wisdom we gain by continuing the journey despite them. Moving forward, let us explore the challenge of difficult decisions, a crossroads we all face at various points in life. These moments can feel overwhelming, as the weight of making the right choice often clouds our judgment. Stoicism, however, offers a practical framework to cut through this uncertainty by anchoring our decision-making process in core virtues such as wisdom, courage, and temperance. Wisdom guides us to seek clarity and gather all relevant information, ensuring that our choices are informed rather than impulsive. Courage empowers us to act decisively, even when the path ahead feels daunting or uncertain. Temperance reminds us to balance our emotions and avoid being swayed by fleeting desires or fears. Together, these virtues serve as a compass, helping us navigate even the most complex dilemmas with confidence and composure. For example, imagine you are torn between two career opportunities. One offers financial security, while the other aligns more deeply with your passion and values. A Stoic approach might begin by asking which choice aligns more closely with your principles and long-term goals. Consider the bigger picture, reflecting on what truly matters to you rather than what feels immediately comfortable. Additionally, Marcus Aurelius' advice to ask yourself at every moment, "Is this necessary?" can be a powerful tool for cutting out distractions and honing in on the decision that feels authentically right. By focusing on virtues and stripping away emotional noise, you create a sense of inner clarity that makes even the toughest choices manageable. In this way, Stoicism transforms indecision into an opportunity for growth, teaching us that every choice, no matter how challenging, is a chance to act in alignment with our best selves. Now turning to the challenge of dealing with criticism, we encounter a situation that most of us find deeply uncomfortable. Whether it is a colleague questioning your work, a friend offering unsolicited advice, or even a stranger passing judgment, criticism has a way of unsettling our peace of mind. Yet, Stoicism provides a liberating perspective. It reminds us that the opinions of others are reflections of their own mindsets, not definitive truths about us. Marcus Aurelius famously said, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." This insight encourages us to detach from the need for external validation and focus instead on controlling our reactions. For example, if someone critiques your performance, rather than immediately taking offense or feeling discouraged, consider their feedback with calm objectivity. Is there something constructive you can take away from their words, or does the criticism merely reflect their personal bias? By practicing emotional detachment, you can evaluate the situation rationally and respond thoughtfully rather than impulsively. A helpful exercise is to pause and count to 5 the next time you feel defensive, giving yourself a moment to decide how to respond in alignment with your values. Additionally, remind yourself that no one can truly know your intentions and efforts as deeply as you do, which means their opinions should never dictate your self-worth. By internalizing this Stoic approach, criticism ceases to be a source of distress and instead becomes an opportunity for reflection, growth, or simply practicing the art of letting go. As the next challenge unfolds, we confront the deep and universal pain of coping with loss. Whether it is the passing of a loved one, the end of a meaningful relationship, the loss of a job, or even an opportunity you had counted on, loss has a way of shaking the very foundation of our lives. It forces us to confront the impermanence of everything we hold dear, a reality that is both humbling and heartbreaking. But Stoicism offers a perspective that, while not erasing the pain, can help us find peace amidst it. At the heart of Stoic philosophy is the understanding that nothing in life is permanent. Seneca, one of Stoicism's most profound thinkers, reminds us, "What need is there to weep over parts of life?" The whole of it calls for tears. This is not a call to despair, but an invitation to see life as it truly is, a fleeting and precious gift, where every moment matters precisely because it will not last forever. Stoicism teaches us to cherish what we have while we have it, knowing that every person and experience is temporary. To cope with loss, a powerful Stoic exercise is to reflect on what the lost thing or person brought into your life. Gratitude can shift your focus from the pain of absence to the joy of having experienced something meaningful, however brief. For instance, if you are grieving the loss of someone you loved, remember the moments you shared, the lessons they taught you, and the happiness they brought into your life. By honoring these memories, you transform grief into a testament of love rather than a source of despair. Additionally, practicing the Stoic concept of letting go can help us navigate loss with grace. To let go does not mean forgetting or minimizing what was lost, but rather releasing the illusion of permanent attachment. It means accepting that loss is a natural part of life and choosing to move forward with the strength and wisdom it has given you. While this is not easy, it is a reminder of your resilience and capacity to grow even through adversity. By embracing impermanence, we not only cope with loss more effectively, but we also learn to appreciate life more deeply. Loss, as painful as it is, teaches us that every moment is an opportunity to fully experience and honor what we have before it is gone. Moving forward, we face the all-too-common struggle of battling procrastination. It is easy to put off tasks for later, convincing ourselves that there will always be more time. Yet, how often do those delays come at the cost of missed opportunities and mounting stress? Procrastination can feel like an insurmountable habit, but Stoicism offers a powerful mindset shift to overcome it. At the core of Stoic philosophy is the principle of living in the present moment and taking purposeful action instead of waiting for the right time. The practice of memento mori, or remembering one's mortality, serves as a profound motivator to break free from the paralysis of postponement. This concept encourages us to acknowledge the fleeting nature of life and recognize that our time is finite. By doing so, we are reminded that every moment is precious and irreplaceable. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "You could leave life right now. Let that determine what you do and say and think." This is not meant to instill fear, but rather to inspire urgency and intention in how we choose to spend our time. To start combating procrastination through this lens, reflect on the tasks you have been avoiding and ask yourself, if today were my last, would I be satisfied knowing I left this undone? This simple yet powerful question can shift your perspective from complacency to action. Another practical approach inspired by Stoicism is to break larger tasks into smaller, achievable steps, focusing only on what is within your control at any given moment. Procrastination often stems from feeling overwhelmed by the enormity of a challenge, but by dissecting it into manageable pieces, you reduce the fear of starting. For instance, instead of saying, "I need to write an entire report," begin with, "I will outline the main points today." Each small victory builds momentum, making the next step easier to tackle. Additionally, Stoics encourage detachment from external outcomes. Often, procrastination is fueled by the fear of failure or imperfection. Yet the Stoic perspective reminds us that the results of our actions are beyond our control. What matters most is the effort we put in and the integrity with which we approach our responsibilities. By focusing on doing your best in the present moment, you free yourself from the paralyzing grip of unrealistic expectations. Through the practice of memento mori and mindful action, Stoicism helps us reclaim our time and energy, transforming procrastination from a burden into an opportunity for purposeful living. As we embrace the importance of now, we move one step closer to a life of fulfillment and mastery over our impulses. With the next phase of the journey in sight, we tackle the challenge of handling anger, an emotion that often feels as though it erupts without warning, consuming our thoughts and actions. Anger, while natural, can be destructive if left unchecked, eroding our relationships, well-being, and decision-making. Stoicism offers a profound approach to understanding and managing this intense emotion by encouraging us to pause and reflect before reacting. At the core of this practice is the wisdom of Epictetus, who taught that anger is often the result of unrealistic expectations. We become angry when reality does not conform to our desires or when people do not act as we believe they should. Yet, as Epictetus reminds us, it is not what happens to you but how you react to it that matters. This perspective shifts the focus from external events, which are beyond our control, to our internal response, which we can master. To start implementing this Stoic principle, consider the next time you feel anger rising within you. Instead of reacting immediately, take a moment to pause and examine the root cause of your frustration. Ask yourself, is this anger stemming from an expectation I imposed on someone or something? By identifying the source, you begin to weaken the intensity of the emotion. Additionally, practice reframing the situation. For example, if someone cuts you off in traffic, instead of assuming malice, reflect that the person may simply be in a hurry or unaware, and recognize that your peace of mind is more valuable than the fleeting irritation. This shift in perception can significantly reduce the power anger holds over you. Another vital Stoic exercise is the habit of premeditatio malorum, or anticipating potential challenges. By mentally preparing for situations that might provoke anger, such as delays, disagreements, or poor service, you build resilience and diminish the shock of encountering these triggers. You might say to yourself, traffic might be heavy today, or I may face criticism at work, but I will approach these moments with patience and composure. This proactive mindset equips you to navigate life's frustrations with grace and control. Lastly, Stoicism emphasizes the importance of self-discipline in cultivating inner peace. Anger often thrives on impulsive reactions, but through consistent practice of self-restraint, you can train your mind to respond thoughtfully rather than reflexively. Journaling can be a powerful tool here as well. Reflect at the end of each day on moments when anger emerged, how you handled it, and what you could do differently next time. Over time, this practice not only enhances your awareness but also strengthens your ability to remain calm under pressure. By adopting these Stoic techniques, anger transforms from an uncontrollable force into an opportunity for self-growth. You gain the ability to act with wisdom and integrity, preserving your energy and focus for what truly matters. And with each step toward mastering your reactions, you edge nearer to a life guided by reason over impulse, where peace becomes your natural state. As the next challenge unfolds, we confront the discomfort of facing uncertainty, a universal experience that can leave us feeling unsettled and anxious. Life is filled with unknowns, from unforeseen changes in work or relationships to global events beyond our control. This ambiguity often triggers fear, as the human mind craves predictability and clarity. Stoicism, however, offers a powerful antidote by teaching us to embrace uncertainty with courage and composure. Instead of allowing the unknown to paralyze us, Stoicism encourages us to prepare our minds through the practice of premeditatio malorum, or the anticipation of potential challenges. This practice involves imagining possible difficulties or setbacks before they occur, not to dwell on negativity or instill fear, but to build mental resilience. By confronting these possibilities in advance, we reduce the shock if they materialize, enabling us to respond with greater poise and reason. For example, before a critical meeting at work, you might reflect on potential outcomes. What if the proposal is rejected? What if unexpected questions arise? By rehearsing these scenarios mentally, you prepare yourself to face them calmly without losing focus or confidence. This approach also fosters a sense of control, not over the future itself, but over your reaction to it. Furthermore, this practice can be applied to everyday situations. Imagine you're planning an outdoor event, but the weather forecast looks uncertain. Instead of fixating on what could go wrong, you might reflect on alternative plans, like moving the event indoors or ensuring adequate preparation for rain. In doing so, you equip yourself to adapt rather than succumb to frustration if circumstances change. The key here is not to eliminate uncertainty, but to transform it into an opportunity for preparation and mental clarity. Stoicism also teaches us to release our attachment to outcomes that are beyond our influence. As Epictetus wisely stated, some things are in our control and others are not. By focusing on what you can control, your efforts, your attitude, and your readiness, you redirect energy away from unproductive worry toward constructive action. Uncertainty, then, becomes less of a threat and more of a challenge to navigate with intention. Additionally, reflect on moments in your own life where the unexpected occurred, yet in hindsight, led to personal growth or new opportunities. These experiences often demonstrate that life's unpredictability is not inherently negative. It can bring surprises, lessons, and even joys that we could never have foreseen. By adopting this mindset, we loosen the grip of fear and open ourselves to the flow of life. In essence, uncertainty is not something to be feared but embraced with a prepared and flexible mind. Through the practice of premeditatio malorum and by focusing on what lies within our control, we cultivate the fortitude to face ambiguity with grace. As we master this approach, life's unpredictability transforms from a source of anxiety into an arena for growth and resilience, proving once again the timeless relevance of Stoic wisdom. Now turning to the next challenge, we encounter the all-too-familiar feeling of being overwhelmed by life's demands. Whether it's juggling work, family, personal goals, or unexpected responsibilities, the sheer volume of tasks can sometimes feel unbearable. In these moments, Stoicism offers a guiding light by encouraging us to embrace simplicity and focus on what truly matters. One key principle in Stoic philosophy is the importance of distinguishing between essential and non-essential tasks. Seneca reminds us to ask ourselves, is this necessary? By regularly questioning the value and purpose of our actions, we can pare down our commitments to those that align with our priorities and virtues. A practical way to implement this is by creating a clear mental or written list of what absolutely must be done and what can be postponed or eliminated altogether. Imagine your day as a backpack and each task as a weight you carry. By removing unnecessary items, you lighten the load and can proceed with greater clarity and energy. For example, instead of trying to respond to every email immediately, you might prioritize the ones that are time-sensitive and leave the rest for a less hectic moment. Stoicism also emphasizes the practice of living in the present moment. Marcus Aurelius advises, confine yourself to the present. By focusing solely on the task at hand, rather than mentally juggling the entire list of what needs to be done, you reduce the sense of being pulled in multiple directions. This approach not only improves efficiency but also prevents the mental clutter that often amplifies the feeling of being overwhelmed. Another powerful Stoic technique is the application of temperance or moderation. This means setting realistic expectations for what you can accomplish within a day. Overloading yourself with an endless to-do list can lead to frustration and burnout. Instead, allocate your time in a way that balances productivity with rest and reflection. For instance, if you're working on an important project, schedule intentional breaks to recharge rather than pushing yourself to the brink of exhaustion. Additionally, Stoicism teaches us to accept that we cannot do everything, nor should we try to. Perfectionism or the desire to meet every demand often leads to unnecessary stress. As Epictetus teaches, focus on what is within your power and let go of what is not. This mindset allows you to release the unrealistic expectation of being able to manage every aspect of life perfectly. Finally, take a moment to reflect on how prioritization and simplicity have benefited you in the past. Think of a time when focusing on just one or two important tasks brought a sense of accomplishment and relief. This reflection can inspire confidence in your ability to handle future challenges with the same clarity and calm. By applying these Stoic principles, we can navigate even the most demanding days with a sense of purpose and control, turning feelings of overwhelm into an opportunity for order and balance. As the next challenge unfolds, we delve into the pervasive issue of envy and comparison. In a world where social media and societal pressures often spotlight the achievements of others, it is all too easy to fall into the habit of measuring our worth against someone else's success. This comparison, however, often leads to feelings of inadequacy and dissatisfaction. Stoicism offers a refreshing perspective by urging us to shift our focus inward, to what we can control, our own growth and our own virtues. Marcus Aurelius provides a timeless reminder: be content with what nature has given you. This teaching encourages us to appreciate our unique qualities and circumstances rather than yearning for what others have. Imagine how liberating it could be to stop comparing your journey to those around you and instead celebrate your own progress. For example, if you find yourself envying a colleague's career, redirect that energy into honing your own skills or taking a step that aligns with your goals, however small it might seem. A practical Stoic exercise to counter envy is the practice of gratitude. Take a moment each day to reflect on what you already have that brings joy or purpose to your life. By focusing on abundance rather than lack, you naturally create a mindset that resists comparison. Another strategy is to remind yourself that external success does not necessarily equal inner happiness. The flashy car, the bigger house, or the prestigious title may look appealing, but they do not guarantee contentment. Stoicism also teaches the value of self-improvement over external comparison. Instead of asking, "How do I measure up to others?" a Stoic reframes the question to, "How can I improve myself today?" This subtle but profound shift transforms envy into motivation. Consider a scenario where a friend's fitness progress sparks envy. Rather than dwelling on what they have achieved, use it as an inspiration to set your own fitness goals and take small, consistent steps toward them. Finally, remember that life is not a competition. Each person's path is shaped by different challenges, opportunities, and choices. Comparing one to another is not only unproductive but also unfair to the uniqueness of each journey. By embracing Stoic principles, you can free yourself from the trap of comparison and instead focus on becoming the best version of yourself. This approach not only counters envy but also fosters a deeper sense of fulfillment and inner peace. Moving forward, we arrive at the challenge of struggling with patience. In today's fast-paced world, waiting, whether for progress, outcomes, or even something as simple as a reply, can often feel unbearable. Stoicism offers a valuable framework for cultivating patience by emphasizing control over our impulses and fostering emotional resilience. Seneca wisely reminds us, "No man was ever wise by chance." This insight points to the fact that patience, like wisdom, is a skill we can develop with mindful practice. One of the first steps to building patience is to recognize that frustration often stems from wanting situations to align with our expectations instantly. Stoicism encourages us to let go of unrealistic demands and instead embrace the present as it unfolds. For example, if you find yourself irritated in a long line or stuck in traffic, take a moment to breathe deeply and remind yourself that this situation is beyond your control. Focusing on what is within your power, like your reaction, helps you stay calm and grounded. Another practical Stoic approach is to view delays and setbacks as opportunities for growth rather than obstacles. Imagine waiting for an important job application response. Instead of allowing impatience to spiral into anxiety, you could use the time to learn a new skill, prepare for interviews, or simply reflect on your goals. This reframing not only keeps impatience at bay, but also turns waiting into a productive experience. Daily practices can also strengthen your ability to remain patient. Consider starting each morning with a Stoic meditation, where you mentally prepare for the challenges of the day, including moments that may test your patience. Visualizing yourself responding calmly to difficulties primes your mind to act with composure when such moments arise. Additionally, journaling in the evening about how you handled frustrating situations can help you identify patterns and areas for improvement. It is also helpful to remember that patience is deeply connected to the Stoic virtue of temperance, which encourages balance and self-control. When you make an effort to pause, reflect, and respond thoughtfully, you are actively practicing temperance. With time, this practice becomes second nature, helping you navigate frustrations with grace and poise. Ultimately, cultivating patience is not just about enduring delays, but about embracing them as part of life's natural rhythm. By applying Stoic principles, you can transform impatience into an opportunity for personal growth, developing a mindset that values progress over perfection. This shift brings not only a sense of calm, but also a deeper appreciation for life's unfolding journey. Now turning to the challenge of financial stress, it is a burden that many of us carry, often feeling trapped by the weight of bills, obligations, and the constant pursuit of more. Stoicism offers a refreshing perspective on this issue by encouraging us to distinguish between what is truly necessary and what is merely a luxury. Epictetus, a renowned Stoic philosopher, reminds us that wealth consists not in having great possessions but in having few wants. This insight shifts the focus from external acquisitions to internal contentment, offering a path to peace of mind even amidst financial pressures. A key Stoic principle to navigate financial stress is the understanding that money should serve us, not the other way around. When we allow wealth to dictate our self-worth or happiness, we hand over control of our emotions to external circumstances. Instead, Stoicism encourages us to view money as a tool, a means to live rather than the ultimate goal of life. For instance, consider the difference between purchasing something out of genuine need versus buying it to impress others. Reflecting on this distinction can help you reassess your relationship with spending and consumption. Stoicism also teaches us to focus on cultivating inner richness, which refers to qualities such as wisdom, character, and gratitude. These are assets that no financial hardship can take away and are far more enduring than material possessions. By practicing gratitude for what you have, no matter how modest, you can shift your mindset from scarcity to abundance. For example, instead of dwelling on what you cannot afford, take a moment to appreciate the roof over your head, the meals on your table, or the relationships in your life. This practice not only reduces stress but also nurtures a sense of fulfillment. Another practical Stoic exercise is to mentally prepare yourself for worst-case scenarios. This may sound counterintuitive, but premeditating on potential financial setbacks, like losing a job or facing unexpected expenses, can make you more resilient if these challenges arise. By imagining how you could cope and adapt, you build confidence in your ability to weather financial storms. Knowing that you possess this mental fortitude can alleviate the fear of uncertainty that often accompanies financial stress. Finally, temperance plays a crucial role in managing financial stress. Practicing self-control in spending and avoiding excessive attachment to material goods aligns with the Stoic path of balance and moderation. When you resist the urge to impulsively spend on things you do not need, you not only protect your financial health but also build discipline and self-mastery. Over time, these habits create a stronger sense of stability and control in your life. By applying these Stoic principles, financial stress can be reframed as a challenge that fosters personal growth rather than a source of constant anxiety. Through mindful reflection, gratitude, and disciplined action, you can cultivate inner peace and resilience regardless of your financial circumstances. This mindset frees you to lead a life guided by virtue rather than by the pursuit of wealth, bringing clarity and contentment to your journey ahead. As the next challenge unfolds, handling rejection is something we all face at some point, whether in our personal relationships, careers, or aspirations. Rejection can sting deeply, often leaving behind feelings of inadequacy or failure. However, Stoicism offers a transformative way to approach rejection by reframing it as an opportunity for growth and self-improvement. Rather than seeing rejection as a reflection of your worth, Stoicism encourages you to view it as an external event, something beyond your control, and therefore not a measure of your value. Marcus Aurelius, one of the most revered Stoic philosophers, reminds us to be like the rock that the waves keep crashing over. It stands unmoved and the raging of the sea falls still around it. This quote encapsulates the Stoic mindset when dealing with rejection. Instead of allowing it to disrupt your inner peace, you can choose to remain composed and reflect on what lies within your control, your response, your character, and your actions moving forward. Rejection can be an invaluable teacher. It often carries insights into areas where we can improve or grow, even if the lesson is not immediately apparent. For example, consider being turned down for a job. While the initial disappointment is natural, a Stoic perspective would shift your focus from the rejection itself to questions like, what can I learn from this experience? Are there skills I can develop to strengthen my candidacy in the future? This mindset transforms rejection from a roadblock into a stepping stone, fostering resilience and continuous self-improvement. Another important Stoic principle to apply is the idea of focusing solely on what depends on you. You cannot control how others perceive or evaluate you, but you can control your effort, preparation, and attitude. By internalizing this, you reduce the power that rejection has over your sense of self-worth. For instance, if someone declines your friendship or romantic interest, instead of dwelling on what you might lack, reflect on whether your actions aligned with your values and whether you treated the situation with sincerity and integrity. If you did, then you have nothing to regret regardless of the outcome. Additionally, Stoicism teaches us to accept that rejection is simply a part of life, a universal experience that no one escapes. By recognizing its inevitability, we can approach it with greater calmness and even gratitude. Each rejection serves as a reminder that life's journey is not about seeking constant validation from others, but about staying true to our principles and cultivating inner strength. With practice, you can begin to see rejection not as a personal attack, but as a natural occurrence that sharpens your character and redirects you toward paths better suited for your growth. Stoicism empowers you to turn rejection into an opportunity to deepen your connection with your inner self. By approaching it with composure, focusing on what you can learn, and remaining steadfast in your virtues, you can navigate rejection with dignity and emerge stronger. This reframed perspective not only alleviates the pain of rejection, but also transforms it into a chance for meaningful development. Now, with this foundation of self-mastery, let us move forward to explore how Stoicism can help tackle the challenge of overthinking. As the next challenge unfolds, overthinking is a mental trap that many of us fall into, often without even realizing it. It begins innocently enough, a thought or concern about something in our lives, but quickly spirals into an overwhelming web of what-ifs and endless scenarios. Overthinking not only saps our energy, but also prevents us from being fully present in the moment. Stoicism offers a powerful antidote to this by teaching us to focus on the present and detach from unnecessary mental clutter. A core principle of Stoicism is to concentrate on what is within our control, our thoughts, actions, and choices, while letting go of what is beyond it. Marcus Aurelius advises, you have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this and you will find strength. This wisdom applies directly to overthinking. Most of the scenarios we ruminate over are things that may never even happen or are entirely outside our ability to influence. By redirecting your focus to what you can act upon here and now, you break free from the mental cycles that overthinking traps you in. One practical exercise inspired by Stoic practices is to write down your thoughts, especially those you find yourself overthinking. Take a moment to divide them into two categories: things you can control and things you cannot. For example, if you are worried about how someone perceives you after a recent conversation, recognize that their thoughts are outside your control. What you can control, however, is how you choose to interact next time, or whether you decide to let that relationship affect your peace of mind. By putting this into perspective, you strip overthinking of its power and regain mental clarity. Another technique the Stoics emphasize is mindfulness and intentional awareness of the present moment. Seneca reminds us that true happiness is to enjoy the present without anxious dependence upon the future. Practicing mindfulness can be as simple as focusing on your breath for a few minutes each day, allowing yourself to become fully immersed in the sensations of the present. This creates a mental pause, breaking the cycle of excessive rumination and grounding you in reality. Detaching from unnecessary mental clutter also involves self-discipline. Overthinking often thrives on imagined scenarios or excessive emotional reactions. By cultivating self-discipline, you train your mind to question whether these thoughts are useful or in line with your values. For instance, if you find yourself dwelling on a past mistake, ask yourself, does this thought serve me in becoming a better version of myself, or is it merely weighing me down? If it is the latter, consciously choose to let it go and redirect your focus to what you can do now to improve. Stoicism teaches us that overthinking is not just a habit to eliminate, but an opportunity to strengthen our mind. Each time you recognize and interrupt the cycle, you grow more capable of navigating life with calmness and clarity. Over time, you build a mental resilience that allows you to approach challenges with a clear and focused perspective. With this newfound awareness of how to master overthinking, let us now explore how Stoicism can guide us in resisting temptations that pull us away from our long-term goals. Now turning to the challenge of resisting temptations, it is a struggle that we all face, whether it is the lure of unhealthy habits, impulsive decisions, or distractions that pull us away from our long-term goals. In moments of temptation, it is easy to prioritize fleeting pleasures over what truly matters. Stoicism offers a practical framework for managing these impulses by emphasizing the importance of self-discipline and aligning our actions with our values and ultimate purpose. The Stoics teach us that true freedom lies in mastery over oneself. Epictetus reminds us, no man is free who is not master of himself. Resisting temptations begins with cultivating this mastery, which involves pausing to reflect before acting impulsively. Instead of reacting to a desire in the moment, ask yourself, will this choice bring me closer to the person I want to become, or will it take me further away? By framing your decision in this way, you shift your perspective from short-term gratification to long-term fulfillment. One powerful technique to counter temptations is the Stoic exercise of imagining the consequences of giving in versus staying disciplined. For instance, if you are tempted to skip an important task in favor of watching another episode of a show, visualize how you would feel afterward. Will you feel regret for neglecting your priorities, or will you feel pride in choosing to stay committed? This simple act of projection allows you to see the bigger picture and reinforces your ability to make choices that align with your goals. Another practice rooted in Stoicism is to reflect daily on the type of person you are striving to be. Marcus Aurelius often reminded himself to live each day in alignment with reason and virtue. By regularly visualizing your ideal self, you strengthen your ability to resist temptations that conflict with your values. For example, if staying healthy is part of your long-term vision, this reflection makes it easier to say no to choices that undermine that goal, such as indulging in unhealthy food or skipping exercise. The Stoics also encourage us to embrace discomfort as a necessary part of growth. Seneca wrote, "Difficulties strengthen the mind as labor does the body." Resisting temptation often involves choosing the harder path over the easier one. Yet with each small victory, you build your willpower just as a muscle grows stronger with repeated effort. Over time, these small acts of discipline accumulate, creating a foundation of strength that makes it easier to face greater challenges. Ultimately, Stoicism teaches us that temptations are not enemies to fear, but opportunities to practice self-control and grow closer to our highest potential. Each time you resist an impulse that does not serve you, you take a step toward becoming the person you aspire to be. With this understanding, let us now turn to how Stoicism can help us embrace change, an inevitable part of life that often brings uncertainty and discomfort. Now turning to the challenge of coping with change, it is natural for us to feel unsettled when life takes unexpected turns. Whether it is a career shift, the end of a relationship, or simply the passage of time altering familiar routines, change often brings uncertainty and discomfort. Stoicism offers us a powerful perspective by encouraging us to see change not as an adversary, but as an integral part of life's natural flow. The Stoics understood that resisting change only amplifies our suffering, while embracing it allows us to find peace and even growth in the midst of upheaval. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "Observe constantly that all things take place by change, and accustom yourself to consider that the nature of the universe loves nothing so much as to change the things that are and to make new things like them." This insight serves as a reminder that change is woven into the fabric of existence. Instead of fearing it, we can learn to work with it by focusing on what lies within our control, our attitudes, actions, and choices. In this way, we transform change from a source of anxiety into an opportunity for self-improvement. One practical approach the Stoics recommend is to cultivate adaptability. Just as a tree bends with the wind rather than breaking, we too can learn to adjust and remain grounded during life's storms. When faced with change, ask yourself, what is within my power to influence in this situation, and how can I respond in the most virtuous way? By centering your focus on constructive actions, you redirect your energy away from worry and toward meaningful progress. Another key teaching of Stoicism is the importance of resilience. Seneca reminds us, "A gem cannot be polished without friction, nor a man perfected without trials." Change, though challenging, often provides the very friction we need to refine our character. For example, losing a job might seem devastating at first, but it can also push you to explore new opportunities, develop new skills, or discover passions you might have otherwise overlooked. By viewing change through this lens, we can see it as a teacher rather than a threat. Stoicism also invites us to practice gratitude for the present moment, even as it transitions into something new. Epictetus urged us not to cling to what we have as if it will last forever, but to cherish it while it is here and let it go with grace when the time comes. This mindset diminishes the fear of loss and helps us navigate change with a sense of acceptance and calm. Finally, the Stoic exercise known as premeditatio malorum, or the anticipation of challenges, can help us prepare mentally for change before it happens. By imagining possible disruptions and rehearsing how we might respond, we build the emotional fortitude to face them when they arise. For instance, if you anticipate the end of a project or a major life event approaching, you can reflect on how to gracefully manage its impact while remaining aligned with your values. Ultimately, Stoicism teaches us that change is not something to resist but to embrace as an essential aspect of growth and renewal. By leaning into adaptability, resilience, gratitude, and preparation, we can find stability even in the midst of life's uncertainties. With this understanding, let us now explore how Stoicism can help us navigate toxic relationships, a challenge that requires both emotional strength and inner peace. Moving forward, let us delve into the challenge of navigating toxic relationships, an area where Stoicism offers profound guidance for maintaining inner peace. Toxic relationships, whether they involve a friend, family member, or colleague, can drain us emotionally and disrupt our well-being. The Stoics teach us that while we cannot control the behavior of others, we have complete authority over how we choose to respond. This realization is empowering as it shifts the focus from trying to change others to strengthening our own sense of self. Marcus Aurelius reminds us, "It is in your power to withdraw yourself whenever you desire." Perfect tranquility consists in the good ordering of the mind, the realm within. This suggests the importance of cultivating a calm, grounded mental state regardless of external turmoil. When faced with toxic individuals, the first step is to recognize that their actions and words are reflections of their own inner struggles, not a measure of your worth. By reframing their behavior in this way, you can detach emotionally and avoid taking their negativity personally. Setting clear boundaries is another key principle to practice in managing toxic relationships. Boundaries are not acts of hostility but tools for preserving your inner peace and protecting your time and energy. Epictetus advises us to keep your will in harmony with nature, meaning you have the right to shape your environment in a way that aligns with your values and well-being. Politely but firmly communicate what you will and will not tolerate, and remember that saying no is an act of self-respect, not selfishness. Stoicism also encourages us to practice emotional detachment without falling into anger or resentment. Seneca wisely noted, "You will cease to fear if you cease to hope." This does not mean giving up hope altogether, but rather letting go of expectations about how others should behave. When you release these expectations, you free yourself from the emotional turmoil caused by unmet desires. Instead, focus on how you can respond virtuously with patience, composure, and kindness, regardless of how the toxic person acts. One useful exercise is to remind yourself of the nature of humanity as a whole. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "When you wake up in the morning, tell yourself, the people I deal with today will be meddling, ungrateful, arrogant, dishonest, jealous, and surly. They are like this because they cannot distinguish good from evil." By anticipating and accepting the flaws in others, you can approach interactions with understanding rather than frustration, softening the impact of toxic behaviors on your own mind. Finally, sometimes the most virtuous and courageous choice is to distance yourself from a toxic relationship altogether. Stoicism does not demand that we endure harmful relationships indefinitely. Instead, it encourages us to act in ways that preserve our integrity and align with our values. Walking away when necessary is not an act of weakness but of strength, as it demonstrates your commitment to prioritizing your well-being and living in harmony with reason. Through emotional detachment, clear boundaries, and a commitment to your own inner peace, Stoicism provides a robust framework for navigating toxic relationships. By applying these principles, you can remain calm, composed, and true to your values even in the face of challenging interactions. As we continue, let us now explore how Stoicism can guide us when confronting injustice, another area where this philosophy helps us act virtuously in difficult times. Now turning to the challenge of facing injustice, Stoicism offers valuable insights that empower us to respond with virtue rather than emotional reactivity. Injustice, whether personal or systemic, can evoke strong feelings of anger, frustration, or helplessness. However, the Stoic perspective encourages us to focus not on the wrongs committed against us, but on how we choose to act in response to them. This shift in mindset allows us to transform moments of injustice into opportunities for demonstrating moral character and resilience. Epictetus wisely teaches, "It is not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters." This principle underscores the need to separate external events, which are beyond our control, from our internal responses, which are entirely within our power. When faced with acts of injustice, the first step is to pause and reflect before reacting. By taking this moment of reflection, you can ensure that your actions align with reason and virtue rather than being driven by anger or impulse. A practical approach to handling injustice is to focus on what you can do constructively. If there is an opportunity to address the situation through dialogue, education, or action that upholds your values, pursue it with determination and integrity. Marcus Aurelius reminds us, "If it is not right, do not do it. If it is not true, do not say it." This guidance encourages us to ensure that our own responses remain ethical, even when faced with unethical behavior from others. By staying true to your principles, you not only maintain your moral integrity, but also set an example that can inspire positive change. Another Stoic practice is to embrace the idea of cosmic justice, the belief that the universe operates according to a greater order, even if it is not immediately apparent to us. This perspective can help temper feelings of resentment and foster acceptance of events that seem unfair. Seneca advises, "Lay aside the hope that events will fit your desires. Instead, adapt your desires to fit the events." By aligning your expectations with reality, you can find peace even in the face of adversity. it is also important to remember that injustice often stems from ignorance. Epictetus explained that people act harmfully not out of malice but because they lack understanding of what is good and right. By recognizing this, you can approach even unjust individuals with compassion rather than hatred, preserving your inner tranquility. This does not mean condoning their actions, but rather refusing to let their behavior disrupt your emotional balance. At times, confronting injustice may require courage to stand your ground or advocate for what is right. Stoicism encourages us to act with bravery when the situation calls for it, but always with wisdom and measured restraint. Reckless or emotionally charged reactions often exacerbate conflicts, whereas a calm and reasoned approach can lead to more meaningful outcomes. Through reflection, ethical action, and emotional composure, Stoicism provides a path for navigating the complexities of injustice. By focusing on what lies within your control and responding in accordance with your values, you can rise above the corrosive power of unfairness and remain steadfast in your pursuit of virtue. As we move ahead, let us now examine how Stoicism equips us to handle the weight of regret and find ways to grow from our past mistakes. Now turning to the challenge of dealing with regret, Stoicism offers profound tools to help us move forward by transforming past mistakes into opportunities for growth. Regret often arises when we dwell on actions or decisions that we cannot change, trapping us in a cycle of self-reproach. However, the Stoic philosophy reminds us that while the past is beyond our control, the present moment and our future actions remain fully within our power. Seneca advises, every new beginning comes from some other beginning's end. This insight encourages us to see the past not as a burden but as a lesson. Instead of fixating on what went wrong, Stoicism teaches us to reflect honestly on the situation, identify what we can learn, and use that wisdom to guide our future choices. By reframing regret as a teacher rather than a source of pain, we can transform it into a stepping stone toward personal growth and resilience. A key practice in overcoming regret is self-compassion. Recognize that all humans are fallible and that making mistakes is an essential part of learning and evolving. Epictetus reminds us, no one errs intentionally. This perspective helps us to acknowledge our imperfections without being consumed by guilt. Treat yourself with the same understanding you would offer a friend, focusing on the steps you can take today to align your actions with your values. Stoicism also emphasizes the importance of living in accordance with reason and virtue to prevent future regrets. By using principles such as courage, wisdom, justice, and temperance as a moral compass, you can make decisions that reflect your highest self. Marcus Aurelius advises, if you seek tranquility, do what is right. This serves as a reminder that when our choices align with our values, we can move forward with clarity and peace of mind, even if the outcomes are uncertain. Another powerful Stoic practice is to embrace the present moment fully. Regret often steals our attention from the here and now, but by redirecting our focus to what we can do today, we regain agency over our lives. The concept of memento mori, or remembering our mortality, is a Stoic reminder to cherish each day as an opportunity for growth and action. This mindset helps us let go of past missteps and concentrate on building a better future. Finally, Stoicism encourages us to practice gratitude for the lessons we have learned from our regrets. Each mistake, however painful, shapes who we are and provides insight into how we can improve. By expressing gratitude for these experiences, we shift our perspective from loss to gain, fostering a sense of empowerment and acceptance. Through reflection, self-compassion, and a commitment to virtue, Stoicism gives us the strength to overcome the weight of regret and focus on what truly matters. Moving forward, let us explore how Stoicism guides us toward discovering our life's purpose and living with greater fulfillment. Now turning to the profound challenge of finding life's purpose, Stoicism offers timeless guidance for those searching for meaning in an often chaotic world. The struggle to understand our place and purpose is one of the most universal human experiences. Stoicism reminds us that the answer lies not in external achievements or fleeting pleasures, but in aligning our lives with nature and living in accordance with virtue. The Stoics teach that living according to nature means embracing our role as rational beings within the larger order of the universe. This involves understanding that we are part of a greater whole and that our actions should contribute positively to both ourselves and the world around us. Marcus Aurelius reflects on this beautifully when he writes, "You have forgotten that your nature is social and that you can only fulfill your purpose by contributing to the common good." By recognizing our interconnectedness, we can find purpose through acts of kindness, service, and the pursuit of wisdom. Living in accordance with virtue is another cornerstone of discovering life's meaning. The Stoics emphasize four cardinal virtues: courage, wisdom, justice, and temperance. These virtues provide a moral framework that helps us navigate life with integrity and clarity. When we prioritize living virtuously rather than chasing external rewards, we cultivate a deep sense of fulfillment and inner peace. As Epictetus advises, first say to yourself what you would be, and then do what you have to do. This teaching encourages us to define our values and take consistent actions that reflect them. Stoicism also advises focusing on what is within our control. Many struggle with life's purpose because they fixate on external markers of success, such as wealth, status, or recognition, which are ultimately beyond their control. The Stoic philosophy redirects our attention inward, urging us to measure our life's worth by the quality of our character and the alignment of our actions with our principles. This shift liberates us from the anxiety of comparison and helps us find meaning in the way we live each day. Another Stoic practice for finding purpose is to regularly reflect on mortality. The concept of memento mori serves as a powerful reminder that life is finite and that every moment is precious. Rather than being a source of fear, this awareness motivates us to live intentionally, ensuring that our actions are driven by purpose rather than distraction. Seneca captures this sentiment when he writes, "As is a tale, so is life. Not how long it is, but how good it is what matters." With this perspective, we can focus on living a life of quality and significance. Lastly, gratitude plays a crucial role in uncovering life's meaning. By appreciating the opportunities, relationships, and experiences we have, we ground ourselves in the present and recognize the value of our journey. Gratitude shifts our focus from what is lacking to what is already abundant, fostering a sense of purpose and contentment. In essence, Stoicism guides us toward a life of alignment with nature, virtue, and gratitude, helping us uncover meaning and fulfillment in even the simplest aspects of existence. With these principles in mind, we can embrace our unique path with clarity and purpose. Now, as we draw closer to the conclusion of this journey through Stoic wisdom, let us reflect on the overarching lessons this timeless philosophy has to offer for navigating life's most common challenges. Now turning to the expanded discussion on reframing anxiety, let us delve deeper into one of Stoicism's most practical tools, the dichotomy of control. This foundational concept encourages us to distinguish between what is within our control and what is not. While it may sound simple, its consistent application has profound effects on how we perceive and manage anxiety in our everyday lives. Imagine starting with small, everyday situations, perhaps getting stuck in traffic or dealing with a delayed appointment. These moments, though minor, often trigger unnecessary frustration and worry. Stoicism teaches us to focus on what we can control, such as our attitude and response, while letting go of what we cannot, like the traffic itself or the delay. By practicing this mindset in seemingly small scenarios, we train ourselves to handle larger anxieties with greater ease and composure. Over time, this exercise builds a mental habit of redirecting focus to what we can influence, whether it is preparing thoroughly for an exam rather than fearing the result or putting effort into a job application without obsessing over the outcome. This approach not only reduces anxiety but also empowers us to act decisively in the areas that truly matter. Marcus Aurelius reminds us, you have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this and you will find strength. These words underline the transformative power of shifting our focus from external uncertainties to internal control. Another way to enhance this practice is through deliberate reflection. At the end of each day, take a few moments to journal or mentally review situations where you applied the dichotomy of control. Ask yourself, did I focus on what I could influence, or did I waste energy trying to change the unchangeable? By doing this regularly, you reinforce the Stoic mindset and learn to approach future challenges with calm and clarity. Furthermore, the dichotomy of control is not about passive acceptance but about active responsibility. It invites us to fully engage with the areas of our lives where we have agency and to act with purpose and determination. For example, if you are anxious about a strained relationship, focus on improving your communication and behavior rather than trying to dictate how the other person reacts. This does not just reduce stress, it also fosters growth and resilience. In essence, the practice of the dichotomy of control transforms how we relate to anxiety. It shifts our perspective from helplessness to empowerment, teaching us to focus on the present moment and our ability to respond with strength and intention. By mastering this Stoic exercise, we can gradually diminish the hold anxiety has over us, replacing it with a sense of peace and confidence in our ability to navigate life's uncertainties. Moving forward, let us explore how Stoicism can further guide us through the challenges that life presents, offering tools to turn obstacles into opportunities for growth. Moving forward to an expanded discussion on lessons from failure, let us explore how Stoicism transforms setbacks into stepping stones for growth. Failure, an experience dreaded by many, is often perceived as an endpoint rather than a potential beginning. But through the lens of Stoicism, failure is simply feedback, a moment to reflect, adapt, and improve. A real-world example of this mindset can be found in the story of Thomas Edison. When asked about the thousands of unsuccessful attempts he made before inventing the light bulb, Edison famously stated, "I have not failed. I have just found 10,000 ways that do not work." This perspective epitomizes Stoic resilience. Edison did not view these attempts as failures but as necessary steps in his journey toward achievement. The Stoic approach begins with reframing how we perceive failure itself. Epictetus reminds us, it is not what happens to you but how you react to it that matters. This means shifting our focus from the external event of failure to our internal response. Instead of allowing failure to define us, we can choose to see it as an opportunity to develop wisdom, patience, and strength. Let us take a practical example. Imagine you applied for a dream job but were not selected. Rather than dwelling on the rejection, a Stoic would encourage you to reflect on what you can learn from the experience. Did you prepare as thoroughly as possible? Is there a skill you could improve for future opportunities? This reflective process is not about self-criticism but about self-awareness and progression. To actively practice this mindset, start by embracing the concept of amor fati, love of fate. This encourages us to accept all events, even failures, as necessary parts of our journey. For instance, if you failed a business venture, use it as a chance to identify gaps in your strategy or execution. Treat every setback as a teacher, guiding you toward a better version of yourself. Another actionable step is to adopt a journaling habit where you document not only what went wrong, but also what you learned and how you can adapt moving forward. This practice helps you cultivate a solution-oriented mindset and fosters resilience over time. Another illustrative story is that of J.K. Rowling, who faced repeated rejections from publishers before finally bringing the Harry Potter series to life. Instead of giving up, she used these setbacks to refine her work and strengthen her determination. Her journey exemplifies how failure, when faced with persistence and reflection, can lead to extraordinary success. By adopting a similar approach in your own life, you can transform moments of disappointment into catalysts for long-term achievement. In essence, Stoicism teaches us that failure is not the end of the road but a crucial part of the journey. It urges us to view obstacles as opportunities and to respond with courage and introspection rather than despair. By practicing self-reflection, embracing amor fati, and taking deliberate action to improve, we can build resilience and turn setbacks into stepping stones toward success. As we move forward, let us explore how Stoic virtues can further illuminate a path through life's complex decisions, offering clarity and strength during moments of uncertainty. With the next phase of the journey in sight, let us delve into applying Stoic virtues to simplify complex decision-making. Life often confronts us with choices that feel overwhelming, where the path forward seems uncertain. This is where Stoicism provides a guiding light, offering a framework rooted in its core virtues: wisdom, courage, justice, and temperance. By breaking decisions into smaller, virtue-based components, we can navigate dilemmas with clarity and confidence. Let us begin with wisdom, the foundation of thoughtful decision-making. Wisdom asks us to evaluate the facts and separate them from assumptions or emotions. Imagine you are debating whether to switch careers. Instead of being driven by fear of the unknown, wisdom encourages you to gather information, perhaps by researching the new field or seeking advice from mentors. This process helps you base your decision on knowledge rather than guesswork. Next comes courage, the virtue that empowers action even when fear lingers. Often, the most important decisions involve stepping into uncertainty. Using our career change example, courage pushes you to take that first step, whether it is enrolling in a training program or submitting applications. Courage reminds us that meaningful progress requires us to embrace risks rather than shy away from them. Justice, as another guiding principle, ensures that our decisions align with fairness and integrity. Consider how your career shift might impact others, such as your family or colleagues. By reflecting on justice, you ensure that your choices are not solely self-serving, but also consider the well-being of those around you. This prevents impulsive actions and fosters balanced, ethical decision-making. Finally, temperance teaches us to avoid extremes and maintain balance. In the context of decision-making, temperance advises against being either overly cautious or recklessly impulsive. It encourages moderation, allowing us to weigh pros and cons thoughtfully. For instance, instead of rushing into a career change without preparation or endlessly delaying it out of fear, temperance helps us find a middle ground where thoughtful planning meets deliberate action. To put this framework into practice, try this actionable step. When faced with a tough decision, create a grid with the 4 Stoic virtues as columns. Under each column, list questions that correspond to the virtue. For wisdom, ask, what do I know and what do I need to learn? For courage, what action can I take despite fear? For justice, how does this choice affect others? And for temperance, am I striking a balance between caution and boldness? By answering these questions, you break the decision into manageable parts, making the process less daunting and more structured. One real-world example of this approach can be seen in the decisions of Nelson Mandela. Throughout his life, he faced complex dilemmas, from leading the fight against apartheid to uniting a divided nation. Mandela's choices consistently reflected these Stoic virtues. His wisdom guided him to strategize thoughtfully. His courage empowered him to act despite personal risk. His sense of justice ensured fairness and inclusion, and his temperance enabled him to maintain restraint even in volatile situations. By embodying these virtues, Mandela left behind a legacy of transformative leadership. Using Stoic virtues as your compass, you can simplify even the most complex dilemmas. This framework not only clarifies the steps to take, but also ensures that your choices align with principles that foster growth, strength, and harmony. As we move forward, let us explore the next challenge life often presents: handling criticism with grace and understanding, a skill that Stoicism refines with remarkable depth. Now turning to the art of handling criticism, Stoicism offers us a profound lens through which we can view feedback, even when it stings. Criticism, whether it is constructive or harsh, often feels personal. However, Stoicism reminds us that the words of others say more about them than they do about us. This philosophy teaches us to detach from the emotional weight of criticism, allowing us to evaluate it with clarity rather than defensiveness. One practical way to approach criticism with a Stoic mindset is to pause and reflect before reacting. Ask yourself, is there truth in what is being said? If the answer is yes, then the feedback becomes a tool for growth. For instance, if a colleague points out that your presentations lack clarity, instead of taking offense, you could use their observation as motivation to refine your communication skills. On the other hand, if the criticism is baseless or rooted in the critic's personal frustrations, Stoicism advises us to let it pass without internalizing it, much like how a calm sea remains unaffected by a passing storm. Marcus Aurelius, a Roman emperor and a prominent Stoic figure, offers wisdom on this matter. You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this and you will find strength. This quote encourages us to focus on how we respond to criticism, which is within our control, rather than trying to change or appease the critic, which is beyond it. To extract value from criticism, consider this practical exercise. The next time you receive feedback, write it down objectively, separating the facts from the emotions it evokes. Then identify specific actions you can take to improve based on the feedback if it has merit. If it does not, practice letting it go by reminding yourself that opinions are external to you and do not define your worth. A real-world application of this principle can be seen in the career of Oprah Winfrey. Early in her career, she was told she did not have the qualities to succeed on television. Instead of allowing this criticism to derail her aspirations, she analyzed it, worked on her craft, and went on to become one of the most influential media figures in history. Her ability to extract value from feedback while discarding negativity illustrates the power of Stoic detachment in practice. By approaching criticism with composure and discernment, you transform it from a source of stress into an opportunity for self-improvement. Stoicism empowers you to remain grounded, filtering out the noise of unfounded judgments while embracing insights that fuel personal growth. As we continue, let us navigate another challenge Stoicism addresses with grace, coping with loss and the inevitability of impermanence. As the next challenge unfolds, let us explore how Stoicism guides us through grieving with grace, offering a philosophy to prepare for the inevitable losses that touch every human life. Loss, whether it involves a loved one, a cherished dream, or even a sense of identity, is an experience that can feel overwhelming. Yet, Stoicism encourages us to approach grief not with denial, but with a deeper understanding of life's impermanence. By reflecting on mortality, a practice known as memento mori, Stoics remind themselves that everything and everyone, including themselves, is finite. Far from being a morbid thought, this exercise is a profound call to cherish what we have while we have it and to make peace with the natural cycle of life. Imagine for a moment holding a delicate flower in your hand. You know it will wilt in time, but that knowledge does not prevent you from appreciating its beauty in the present moment. The same principle applies to our relationships and experiences. When we accept that nothing lasts forever, we are less likely to take our blessings for granted and more likely to invest in meaningful connections and moments of joy. Marcus Aurelius mused, "Loss is nothing else but change, and change is nature's delight." These words urge us to see loss not as an end, but as a transition that aligns with the natural order of life. This perspective can transform grief into an opportunity for reflection and gratitude. When we lose someone dear to us, reflecting on the time we spent with them can help us focus on the love and lessons they brought into our lives rather than the pain of their absence. A practical way to integrate this Stoic principle into daily life is through journaling. At the end of each day, take a moment to write about the people and experiences you value most and why. This practice not only reinforces gratitude but also builds emotional resilience by preparing you to face eventual goodbyes with grace. By deeply acknowledging the impermanence of life, we learn to let go without bitterness, honoring what we had instead of clinging to what is gone. Consider the example of Viktor Frankl, a psychiatrist and Holocaust survivor who endured unimaginable loss. Through his suffering, he discovered that reflecting on the meaning within life's fleeting moments provided strength and solace. He once wrote, "When we are no longer able to change a situation, we are challenged to change ourselves." Frankl's ability to find purpose even amidst loss demonstrates how Stoic principles can help us navigate grief with dignity. By practicing the art of reflecting on mortality, we cultivate a mindset that allows us to embrace life's impermanence with open arms. Stoicism does not ask us to suppress our emotions, but to honor them in a way that fosters growth and gratitude. As we deepen our understanding of this wisdom, let us move forward and tackle a common struggle many face daily: overcoming procrastination and reclaiming the present moment. With the next phase of the journey in sight, let us turn our focus to the universal struggle of procrastination and how Stoicism offers practical tools to move from hesitation to action. Procrastination often stems from feeling overwhelmed, unsure where to start, or being distracted by less meaningful pursuits. Stoicism reminds us to reclaim the present moment and act with purpose by breaking tasks into smaller, manageable steps and staying fully engaged in each one. As Marcus Aurelius advised, do not act as if you are going to live 10,000 years. Death hangs over you. While you live, while it is in your power, be good. This is a call to action, urging us to make the most of the time we have. The first step in overcoming procrastination is to clarify your purpose. Ask yourself, what is truly important right now? Identify the task that aligns most with your values or long-term goals, rather than what simply feels urgent or easy. Once you have this clarity, break the task down into smaller, achievable actions. For example, if you are writing a report, begin by outlining the main points instead of aiming to complete the entire document in one sitting. This approach mirrors the Stoic practice of focusing on what is within your control, one piece at a time. Next, approach each step with full presence. Stoicism emphasizes the importance of living in the moment. Instead of worrying about the completion of the entire project, center your attention on the single task at hand. Treat it as an opportunity to practice excellence. Seneca once said, "While we are postponing, life speeds by." Therefore, by immersing yourself fully in the present action, you strip procrastination of its power. Another effective strategy is to use the Stoic concept of memento mori as a source of motivation. By reflecting on your mortality, you gain a sense of urgency to act now rather than delaying for an uncertain future. Consider taking 5 minutes at the start of your day to visualize what unfinished work or goals would matter most if today were your last day. This practice can ignite a sense of purpose and diminish the allure of procrastination. Finally, hold yourself accountable through regular reflection. At the end of the day, revisit what you accomplished and what could have been improved. Journaling about your progress not only reinforces positive habits, but also allows you to identify patterns in moments of procrastination. Over time, this helps you build self-discipline, a cornerstone of the Stoic way of life. By breaking tasks into smaller parts, focusing on the present, using mortality as motivation, and reflecting daily, you can transform procrastination into purposeful action. Stoicism teaches us that the key to progress lies not in waiting for the right moment, but in making the most of the moment we have. As we continue this journey, let us move forward to another common challenge: mastering the art of managing anger. As the next challenge unfolds, let us explore the Stoic approach to maintaining calm and managing anger. Anger, though a common human emotion, often clouds judgment and leads to actions we regret. Stoicism offers practical methods to regain control in these intense moments by addressing not only the emotion itself but also the underlying triggers. Epictetus wisely observed, "It's not what happens to you but how you react to it that matters." This reminds us that anger arises not from external events but from our perception of them. The first step in maintaining calm is to pause and focus on your breath. When anger flares, take a moment to slow down your breathing. A simple and effective technique is to inhale deeply through your nose for 4 counts, hold your breath for 7 counts, and exhale slowly through your mouth for 8 counts. This practice, often referred to as box breathing, not only calms the nervous system but also provides a mental pause, allowing you to respond thoughtfully instead of reacting impulsively. Another Stoic exercise is to examine the source of your anger by asking, "Is this within my control?" Much of what angers us comes from outside circumstances or the actions of others which are beyond our influence. By reminding yourself of the Stoic principle that you can only control your thoughts, emotions, and actions, you can begin to release the grip of frustration and focus instead on what you can improve or accept. Practicing gratitude is also a powerful way to dissolve anger. When faced with a situation that tempts you to lash out, shift your attention to something you are thankful for in that moment. It could be as simple as appreciating the weather, your health, or even the opportunity to practice patience. Gratitude redirects your focus from negativity to positivity, creating space for calm to take root. To cultivate long-term emotional balance, consider regular meditation inspired by Stoic reflection. At the end of each day, dedicate a few minutes to reviewing moments when you felt anger. Reflect on how you responded, what you could have done differently, and what triggers you might face in the future. This kind of self-awareness, practiced consistently, strengthens your ability to maintain composure when similar challenges arise. Finally, keep in mind that anger is often tied to unrealistic expectations. If someone acts rudely or something does not go as planned, pause and remind yourself that the world and people within it are imperfect. Accepting this reality helps you view situations with greater equanimity and reduces the likelihood of anger taking hold. Through techniques like controlled breathing, recognizing what is within your control, practicing gratitude, meditating on your responses, and setting realistic expectations, Stoicism equips us with tools to conquer anger and foster inner peace. With calmness as our guide, let us now face the uncertainty that life often presents and discover how Stoic resilience helps us embrace the unknown. As the next phase of our journey unfolds, let us delve deeper into the Stoic practice of premeditatio malorum, or the anticipation of adversity, and uncover how it empowers us to embrace the unknown with strength and clarity. This practice involves mentally preparing for potential challenges by envisioning what could go wrong, not to dwell on negativity, but to equip ourselves emotionally and mentally for life's uncertainties. For instance, consider someone preparing for a crucial job interview. Instead of fixating solely on the best possible outcome, they might also reflect on potential setbacks, such as struggling with a tough question or facing rejection. By doing so, they can rehearse their responses and foster resilience, reducing the fear of the unknown. Now imagine a traveler planning a trip. They might anticipate possible delays, lost luggage, or unexpected changes in weather. Rather than being overwhelmed if these issues arise, the traveler, having mentally rehearsed them, approaches the situation with calmness and flexibility, ready to adapt and make the best of it. This mindset, inspired by premeditatio malorum, transforms uncertainty from a source of anxiety into an opportunity to practice composure and resourcefulness. Incorporating this practice into modern life does not require monumental effort. Start small by reflecting on your daily plans. Before heading into your day, take a few moments to visualize potential obstacles such as traffic, a challenging conversation, or a last-minute change in schedule. Pair this reflection with a plan for how you will respond in a calm and constructive manner. By doing so consistently, you condition your mind to face unexpected events with preparedness and poise. Another powerful application of this exercise is in financial planning. Imagine someone concerned about their financial future. By envisaging scenarios like an unexpected expense or a sudden loss of income, they can take proactive steps such as building an emergency fund or creating a budget to mitigate these potential challenges. This forward-thinking approach, rooted in Stoicism, provides both peace of mind and practical preparedness. Premeditatio malorum is not about pessimism. It is about developing the courage to face life's uncertainties head-on. It teaches us that uncertainty is not to be feared but embraced as part of the human experience. By expecting challenges and preparing for them thoughtfully, we cultivate a sense of control and adaptability that allows us to navigate life's twists and turns with confidence. With this practice in mind, let us continue our exploration of Stoic strategies by addressing the feeling of being overwhelmed, and discover how simplicity and prioritization can bring clarity and calm to even the busiest of lives. As the sun rises on the next chapter of our journey, let us revisit the 20 common problems we have explored and reflect on how Stoicism offers practical and profound solutions for each. From conquering anxiety about the future to embracing life's ever-changing nature, this ancient philosophy equips us with the tools to face challenges with resilience, wisdom, and clarity. By focusing on what is within our control, accepting what is not, and aligning ourselves with virtues like courage, patience, and temperance, Stoicism transforms life's struggles into opportunities for growth. These principles are not abstract or out of reach. They are timeless guidelines that can be applied in even the smallest moments of our daily lives. Whether it is taking a breath before reacting in anger, journaling to process emotions, or simply appreciating the present moment, there is always a way to integrate Stoic wisdom into your routine. Imagine the difference it could make to truly let go of comparison, to approach failure as a stepping stone, or to navigate uncertainty with calm resolve. These are not just lofty ideals but actionable steps that anyone can take to lead a more fulfilling, purpose-driven life. As you move forward, I encourage you to start with just one or two principles. Reflect on a problem you are currently facing and consider how a Stoic perspective might reframe it. Perhaps begin a journal where you write about daily challenges and how you aim to respond to them with reason and composure. Remember, as Marcus Aurelius reminds us, you have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this and you will find strength. So let today be the day you take that first step. Apply one piece of Stoic wisdom to your life and observe the impact. If you found this journey through Stoicism helpful, do not forget to hit the like button, share this video with someone who might benefit from these insights, and subscribe to the channel for more content like this. Together, let us continue exploring ways to cultivate peace and purpose through timeless wisdom. Thank you for watching, and may your path be guided by reason, courage, and virtue.